of Scotland as well. Across more central southern parts of Scotland, a bit more cloud here, perhaps a few spots of rain early on, but a brighter picture for Northern Ireland and much of England and Wales, although across parts of the southeast in particular, a bit of cloud here and a few showery bursts towards the coast as well. Also a bit of a breeze here, in fact down the whole eastern side as we go through the day. There is always going to be a bit of a nagging breeze, making it feel a little bit fresher, and across central eastern parts a bit more cloud bubbling up at times as we go through towards lunchtime. Some of that will break up, so some brighter sunny spells developing as we go through the afternoon, but a good deal of sunshine northern parts and also towards the southwest, and feeling warm in that sunshine with temperatures peaking in the low 20s Celsius. Another fine day on offer as we go through Friday, perhaps a bit of rain pushing into the far northwest of Scotland, but otherwise lots of dry weather, some brightness around and just a few spots of rain here and there. High pressure staying in control as we go into the weekend, so things are staying fine. Lots of sunny spells and temperatures creeping up a little as well. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Well, Labour and Lib Dem councils have decided that they want to close their local migrant hotels. That's all across all of the front pages pretty much tomorrow. Also, millions of you, I'm sorry to say this, are facing an energy bill rip-off. Find out how much your energy bills are going to go up this time under Labour. We've also got a picture of Angela Rayner glugging a glass of wine on Hove Beach. Thank you very much, Angela. And the BBC needs to be protected from Farage. And, of course, that's before we've got stuck into the fact that there is a cult priest who's been arrested for a series of sex crimes. All that and more.
What does it feel like to be a Great British Giveaway winner?
That's a big surprise.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
Do you know what? I've never won anything like this in my life.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
That is absolutely fantastic.
We're over the moon.
Yes, that is fantastic.
You know, you have no idea how much I needed it. Oh my goodness.
You've won £54,321.
Please don't joke. This would change my life.
Oh, thank you so much. I was gobsmacked. Thank you, GBNews.
I'd say don't hesitate, do it. If you're not in it, you've got no chance of winning it.
Thank you.
You weren't expecting to get that call today, were you?
No, I wasn't.
You really could be our next big winner. Head over to gbnews.com/win now to find out how and get your entry for the Great British Giveaway. Great prizes, even greater wins.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very racist tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition, breaking right now.
I would say please give us a second chance. Please treat us the same way you treated us before the incident.
Nope. The Daily Mail leads with Labour revolt on migrant hotels. Well, it looks as though Labour councils, and apparently a couple of Lib Dem councils as well, are now trying to take the Home Office to court, get their local migrant hotels closed. I mean, that really is quite a big step, isn't it? We're also going to be talking about this. It's on the front of the Daily Express. Millions of you, I'm sorry to tell you this, are facing an energy bills rip-off. Households will pay 300 quid a year more. That's on top of the last time that your bills went up and the time before that. Do you remember the halcyon days where Sir Keir Starmer said that he had a fully costed plan to fix your bills? I certainly do. It's a shame he doesn't. On the front of tomorrow's Daily Telegraph, the state has failed white working class pupils. We keep hearing about this, don't we, about how white working class boys historically have been the worst performing. You know, we need special schemes for them, I think, don't we? But you can't, because that would be racist. However, there was a big story there. It's about Rachel Reeves. It's about Rachel Reeves maybe looking to come after your pension pot. We'll return to that, don't worry. And can you tell me, please, what's going on here?
No, we had recently was a really less than usual one, was we're having a gangbang.
Yeah, there'll be none of that this evening. You'll be very, very pleased to know. Boomers are out drinking, out protesting, and even out partying their children. New figures show that they're leading Palestine action arrests, drinking more than any other generation, and even seeing a rise in STIs. Yes, is it still a boomer's world? How old are you if you're a boomer? Does anyone know? No? Is it 70? Flipping out, it's disgrace. What? 70 and older? Right, well, we'll talk about this later. Whoa, joining me this evening, we've got the Director of Popular Conservatism, Mark Littlewood, journalist and broadcaster Nina Mishkov, and comedian Steve N. Allen. But first, let's get those headlines with Sam Francis.
Very good evening to you. Loud and clear from the newsroom, the top story this hour. The fallout from a landmark court ruling over asylum hotels is spreading, with more councils now weighing legal action. Labour-run Wirral and Tamworth councils say they're considering following Epping Forest's lead after it won a High Court injunction blocking migrants from being housed at the Bell Hotel. Leaders in both areas say the government has trampled on local planning rules, and they argue communities are being disrupted by short-term hotel use. Conservative-run Broxbourne is also exploring its options, while Reform's Nigel Farage is urging people to follow Epping's lead in peaceful protest. The government insists, though, hotel use is already being wound down, but ministers remain under pressure to deliver on promises to end it altogether by the close of this parliament. Israel has begun the first stages of its planned assault on Gaza City, with troops now holding the outskirts. Tens of thousands of reservists have been called up, though most won't enter combat until September, leaving just a narrow window for truce talks with Hamas. European leaders are warning the move can only lead to disaster, while the Red Cross says Gaza's 2.1 million people already face catastrophic humanitarian crisis. Israel says civilians, though, will be evacuated before any major offensive, but it's determined to dismantle Hamas and free remaining hostages. A former priest who once led a powerful evangelical movement has been exposed as a sexual predator. 68-year-old Christopher Brain, head of the 9 o'clock service in Sheffield, was today found guilty of 17 counts of indecent assault against 9 women in the 1980s and 90s. Jurors heard Brain turned the church group into a cult, surrounding himself with young women he groomed and abused under the guise of spiritual care. He showed no emotion as the verdicts were read out today, and the jury is still considering further charges, including 1 rape. And the BBC's survival is at stake, and politicians must be stripped of their power over it. That is the warning from former BBC News chief James Harding. He says ministers hold too much sway, from appointing the BBC chair to setting the licence fee. He's urging reforms before the 2027 charter renewal, including, he says, an independent commission to set that fee, Ofcom to oversee decisions, and the board chosen internally. He even floated the idea of a BBC GPT to give the public safe access to AI, calling it not just about the broadcaster, but a national investment in our future. That is the news on GB News. Stay with us for more right here with Patrick.
Well, welcome along to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. Let's whiz you through all of Thursday's front pages. So, the first paper that we've got is the Metro. They go with cult priest guilty of 17 sex crimes. I mean, this is obviously devastating for all those people involved, but the case in general is completely bonkers. And if you can't trust a cult priest, then really, who can you trust? So we'll talk about that. The next paper that we're going to be looking at is the I believe. Labour councils threaten new legal action over asylum seeker hotels. It's actually something quite interesting is happening at both the I and the Independent. They are left-wing papers, but they've started running headlines, exactly like the ones that you're seeing now, hammering the government, whether it's on things like tax, whether it's on things like immigration. Fascinating, really, that it appears that this government has lost both the I and the Independent. The Daily Express, millions face energy bills rip-off. Apparently it's 300 quid your bill is going to go up by on average. I think it's October. I want to say it's October. I think that's happening. Well, that's, again, I think pretty sure it's the third time bills have gone up in this government's tenure. So, bit of a shocker, really. The Daily Telegraph got a few stories on their front page, as they always do. And the big one they've gone with is the state has failed white working-class pupils. Apparently, this is ahead of GCSE results day, which will be today, as in it'll be on Thursday. But there's another story there, which is Rachel Reeves eyeing a tax rate on pension lump sums. Now, that would mean that people who want to withdraw from their pension, currently you can take 25% of your pension pot tax-free up to a cap of £268,000. Apparently, they want to seriously reduce that. Again, at what point does it become theft, really? But the Daily Mail, they go with Labour revolt on migrant hotels. Fascinating. We're going to get into this in a second, because apparently some Lib Dems are doing it as well. The Sun, no vacancies, they say, on the front of the Sun, which is, again, a migrant hotel story, you know, because of this issue that they've had in Epping there. Then we've got The Times, Labour councils explore migrant hotel legal action. You know what I find? I'm sorry about this, but I'm going to say it. I think if you voted Labour or the Lib Dems, you should get all the illegal immigrants. Because that's basically, you voted for parties that were bang in favour of this stuff. And so now you've had, like, the people of Epping who've come forward in other places where they've protested, they've been called far-right, they've all been called fascists, and then now they've had a win, all the Labour and the Lib Dem areas are piling in and going, oh, go on, then we'll do it now. Sod off, you can take them all. Anyway, The Guardian. Labour councils join revolt over asylum hotels after Epping. There's also a story at the bottom there that the BBC needs to be given protection from Nigel Farage, which is ludicrous. All right, let's get the thoughts of my wonderful panel on all of this. Can we go to you, Mark, first on... So Labour and Lib Dem councils, some of them are looking to copy what's gone on in Epping.
Yeah, there's going to be a massive domino effect now, right, with Epping having won this. I mean, how many local councillors in any part of the country do you think have in mind that their re-election campaign is to wave around refugees' welcome signs? Very few, I think. They might, you know, decide they're going to go hell for leather for that, but they won't get re-elected. So the knock-on effect is now going to be absolutely enormous. We've got to dig up all those old pictures of people like Yvette Cooper and others holding these refugees' welcome signs. She couldn't have been clearer about that. I would think every council with a migrant hotel in it is now going to try and seek legal action in line with Epping. There is a rub, though. I was trying to get into some of the details of this, and I'm not a lawyer or a planning expert. But the problem with the Bell Hotel in Epping is apparently the hotel itself didn't apply for a kind of change of its status. Yeah. So it was just a hotel. I think there was a mechanism by which they could have applied to be a place to hold asylum seekers. Perhaps other hotels have done that, in which case the Epping precedent will not apply in a number of other cases.
However, again, with that, we'll have to wait and see how this is tested, but it would appear to me that in order to have done that, it would have had to have been approved by the local council.
Well, that will put those local councils in trouble because they'll have to U-turn and say we're removing that permission.
But if we bring up, for example, the front page of, like, take your pick, really, to be honest with you, The Sun, I suppose, apparently it's 80 local authorities now, 80 areas where there could be 80 regions are primed to take measures. So they must know that they hadn't granted this planning permission. So it brings a whole new meaning, Steve, doesn't it, to illegal migrant hotels? Because it's actually, they were the illegal thing.
Yeah, the planning permission, that's what bothers you, isn't it? Yeah, if I have to go through that, jump through that many hoops just to kind of get an extension in my back garden, then they should have to suffer as well. This is one of those things where, of course they're going to do this, because it's the loudest, brightest part where the rubber hits the road of political issues. But this is just the Band-Aid solution, isn't it? This isn't like, how do we fix the migrant issue in the UK? This is, how do we move it a bit further away from where the protests are? That's all that's going to happen. You close down the hotel, well, the people don't magically disappear. There'll be another problem.
Well, I think a lot of people are thinking that maybe this is the excuse the government needed to just start deporting more people.
Do you think that's, what, planning permission? We weren't going to deport, but there was a planning permission
There's nowhere to put them. Then they're going to have to start deporting, aren't they?
Well, unless then you start using those houses of multiple occupancy, or I'm sure they'll come up with some other solution.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely they will brainstorm a quicker solution than get round to making a deportation system work.
There were, under the Tories, over 400 hotels being used. It's now down to 210. So they are cutting that. So you can't say they're not doing anything about it. And my guess is that if this is a domino effect, and that seems the logical conclusion, then the government might just change the law. They might just change the law to say...
Yeah, but what's the public backlash to that, though? Yeah. This is the thing they have to consider. I mean, they would be at war with the British public.
I think Nina might be right. They could go for this, right? I mean, it's pretty weird that the hottest political issue of our days has been, you know, brought to life by some obscure subsection of our very obscure planning laws, right? Very weird way to go about it. But Nina's right. The government might say, we're going to make an alteration to the planning laws, such that the definition of a hotel is now a place where you can stay overnight, or you can have asylum seekers. Yeah. They could change the law that way, but Patrick, you're right, the electoral backlash to that, good luck with that one.
They are people who are staying overnight in a building.
I suppose, but to be fair, Keir Starmer did promise a change to planning laws. That was one of those promises.
Liberalisation of planning.
Can you imagine saying that? Promise made, promise delivered. Oh, yeah. I just saw the lads from Sudan behind him waving, yay, fantastic. But how embarrassing is this, Mark, for the government that now there is Labour areas? I mean, I think the Wirral and Tamworth are just a couple of them, but it looks as though there's going to be loads more as well that are going to be applying for this.
Well, I mean, as I say, I would suspect, I haven't mapped every single asylum hotel onto every local authority, but my guess would be any local authority run by any political party that has any sense of electoral self-survival is going to take a leaf out of Epping's playbook, right? Labour, Liberal, Green, Independent, Conservative. I mean, good luck. As I say, if you've got the policy of our local area is refugees welcome, let's hand over a few more hotels on the high street to house them, you will be blown away at the ballot box. So this is weirdly almost going to go non-partisan, but that will involve Labour-run councils turning their fire on the Labour government.
The thing is, when is the next ballot box? I mean, in terms of local councils.
Well, they're every May, but in sections.
Yeah, exactly. So that they think, well, maybe it's be solved by then. So they're playing a longer game. And let's remind ourselves, the Labour government are in for another 4 years.
Well, possibly.
But yes. You know something we don't know?
Well, I think just the mood of the public and the fact that we can't really go on living like this much longer. I don't think. Nina.
Well, and what's going to push the government out?
Well, I think
we live in a democracy.
At some point there'll be opinion polls. I think eventually Labour MPs will start rebelling against their own Prime Minister en masse because they'll realise he's about as popular as Novichok and that they would like to keep their seat.
They'll change the leader.
Well, possibly.
And also, which
will lead to calls for general election, won't it?
But it takes so many to whittle down until they no longer have a majority.
No,
you'll be here all day.
That's pie in the sky. It may be wishful thinking, but it's not going to happen. It really is.
Well, I think it's good news for reform if we don't have a general election until the date that we're supposed to have a general election.
You don't know how different this country might be in 4 years' time.
Well, it'll be significantly... Well, I've got an idea. I've got an idea.
Significantly worse.
I don't know. I've had a look at the rate of demographic change, Nina. And
are you talking this country down?
Yeah. A lot can happen in a week, so let's look what can happen in 4 years.
All right.
A lot of the problems in this country that were left behind by the Tory government might well have been solved.
Well, let's have a look on that note at another front page here. Shall we just go to the Daily Telegraph? I'm more obsessed with their story, Reeves eyeing a tax raid on pension lump sums. I know we spoke about this a little bit in the last show, but it's a big story. It's on the front page. So, Mark, could you just explain what the rules are now and what's going to happen?
Yeah, so you can save into your pension pot, and lots of middle-class people like me have done that. And the rules were, when you turn 55, which is the earliest you can, if you like, legally retire for this purpose, you can take 25% out of whatever you've put in your pension pot, totally tax-free, up to a maximum of £268,000. So in rough terms, if you've managed to save as much as about £1 million, you can take out about a quarter, tax-free, one-off, to, whatever it is you want to particularly do over your first few years of retirement. And a lot of people have saved on that basis. If you've saved, £200,000 in your pension pot, you can take 25% out tax-free. It looks like the Telegraph are suggesting that Labour smells away at getting their hands on our cash here. Torsten Bell, a very influential figure in the Labour government, he's the pensions minister, I believe, has previously advocated lowering that to 40k. So if you took out a lump sum, anything above 40k, you'd pay tax on the rest that you took out.
So you'd have to live off 40k a year?
Well, no,
if you wanted to take it.
No, this is a one-off bonus, right? You can then do what you want with the rest of your pension. You could cash it in for an annuity to get whatever, 15 grand.
But your one-off bonus would be capped at 40
Your one-off bonus would be capped at 40k. Particularly annoying for me because I'm, best part of 53 and a half. I've only got 18 months to go before I can get my hands on my own filthy lucre, but it looks like Rachel Reeves is going to beat me to the punch.
But Mark, how many people are as smart or as capable of earning money and saving it as you? I mean, the fact...
God, I'm going to have to pay the entire budget deficit.
but 268,000 being a quarter, saying, of what you...
Yeah, but it's aspiration, Nina, isn't it? Come on. You can't just keep going, this is...
No, I mean, what percentage of people...
But, Nina, here's the problem, right, which is that I wish the Labour government keep running into this. They run the assumption that if they brought in this rule, no one will change their behaviour.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if they bring in this rule, there's no way I'm taking a big lump sum out of my pension to pay tax on it. No way.
Yeah, I mean, the question isn't like how many people have earned enough to get 260. It's how many people have got 40. Because that's the number that they bring it down to. So people above that would be the ones who start paying. And you're right about change of behaviour. This surely is the easiest behaviour to change. This is not like one of those where you have to really tighten your belt and cut back. I remember it was a George Osborne era thing where this came in, and the newspapers were saying, we'll see Lamborghinis everywhere, and it didn't really happen, did it? So this is... People back then, not that long ago, used to live without doing this drawdown. So that's what they'd do. They would make no money from this tax change, other than just upset people, and I suppose more people a few years later would have a better pension. It won't help it solve the black hole. It won't fill the black hole.
They won't raise a bean from it.
Well, there we go. With that in mind, let's go back. It's a bit of a shift. You might know, if you are a regular GB News viewer and listener, what we decided to do was people are enjoying their summer holidays. Lots of people, aren't they? A lot of people go to Benidorm, which is a fabulous part of the world. I certainly absolutely love Benidorm. And it is the mission of Doogie Beattie to go over there and find out what holiday makers over there, the salt of the earth people are talking about. Doogie, last time I saw you were riding a mechanical bull. It appears that you are now just on terra firma. How's it over there for you?
Well, it's brilliant, Patrick. I mean, I came here thinking Benidorm was here for the Cheltenham Festival. Not too sure. Last couple of days, I've spent time all over Benidorm. And you have to think there's three parts to Benidorm. There is an absolutely beautiful beach out the front. There's the old town, which is full of quite a few shops, cafes, really quite nice. And then there is the strip where we are in now. Now, the strip wouldn't be my cup of tea, per se. But, the Brits can really enjoy themselves here. Ask people from Norway who have met everywhere else along the line. And they're all here enjoying themselves tonight, every single one of them. It is absolutely fantastic. They're getting their holidays in before the children go back to school. And, of course, tomorrow is GCSE results day. And look, there's people here saying it's GB News. Lads, how are you? Where do you come from?
I come from West London originally, but now I live in Berkshire.
What about you?
West London, Twickenham.
And how are you enjoying Benidorm?
It's a wonderful place, mate. It's a really good vibe here. Everyone's having a fantastic time. No beef, no one wants to say everyone's here coming to have a good time.
And people would put Benidorm down.
For what reason?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I've been converted.
Well, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking now, 3 days in Benidorm. It's brilliant. There's something for everyone here.
Was you down here a couple of days ago, down outside the Red Lion with that big geezer from Burnley?
Yes.
I saw you on YouTube, brother.
There you go.
Yeah. I saw you. I was having a pony this morning, man. I saw you on the...
Well, you see, GB News, we're all about getting in amongst our people, finding out what's going on.
Well, what do you want to know?
Oh, anything. I mean, what do you think of the inflation today? Up at 3.8%.
They don't get told anymore. Where in Northern Ireland are you from?
Belfast. Outside Belfast.
Lauren.
Lauren, there you go. See, we're used to reading the news.
So growing up, we used to get shown what was happening. Lauren. And then I got to maybe 12. They stopped.
It's not.
No, but they have no idea. Most of these people have no idea what a paramilitary group is.
Oh, that's sad.
Name one.
What do you want to talk about? All the flags in Birmingham, what was going on over there?
Yeah, well, what do you think about the flags?
Say again?
What do you think about a St George's Cross being taken down?
Why is it a bad thing?
The St George's Cross, you mean the Ulster hand?
Yeah.
Why is it a bad thing?
Why is it a good thing?
Well, that's another discussion.
That's the question. Time. That's the question.
It is indeed.
Why is it a bad thing? Why is
it a bad thing to have the red hand of Ulster?
Well, there you go, lads. Thank you very much indeed. We'll not continue that conversation. We actually might after this live. But from Benidorm, Patrick, it's back to you in the studio.
Right. Well, thank you, I think. Cheers, Doogie. Cheers for that, mate. Take care, Doogie Beattie there in Benidorm. I just wonder how many people involved in that conversation are going to remember it tomorrow morning. But...
To be perfectly frank, Patrick, that has not sold Benidorm to me.
I like Benidorm. You can do whatever you like over there.
No, it has to me. Yeah. I noticed that Doogie was standing just in front of a bar or restaurant with the London Underground sign called Brit Station. You wouldn't be able to call it something that patriotic on the actual London Underground, but you can in Benidorm.
So you're always in Benidorm, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to be there all the time? Yeah, I really blend in. That's just the bald head.
Yeah, well, there you go. No, hey, I like it. I like it. A little bit of cheap sunset and sand. You can't beat it. Oh, Nina, you snob.
No, I'm not a snob. I'm saying,
snob.
It's nothing snobby about that.
You know what? That kind of guy appeals to a certain type of woman. It might not be you, but...
Guy, not just kinds of guy. They're just, it's just... No.
Hey, we're not pieces of meat.
All right. Well, it's a good job. It's not Benidorm blind date. Anyway, right. Coming up...
No. We had recently was a really less than usual one, was we're having a gangbang.
Yeah, we go back to Benidorm. No, we don't. Anyway, what on earth is going on there? And all the front pages, your bills are going up. Sorry, everyone. We're going to be talking about that. And the state has apparently failed white working class pupils. Stay tuned.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11 only on GB News.
So I spent probably the best part of a year genning up on the world of self-publishing, making sure that I knew all the ropes, and then but I mean, hand on heart, I really thought when I first published it that I'd probably sell about 30 copies and continue my day job. So it was a shock when it started to sell as well as it did.
The day job was being a school teacher, but you had a background as a script writer, a screenwriter, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I'd spent a long time working in TV as a script editor and then writing on series for the BBC and Holby and EastEnders and The Bell. And then thought I'd change tact, go and be a secondary school teacher for a while, and just, I suppose, write a book and see what happened. And that was 5 years ago, and sort of haven't looked back since.
Well, just before we get to that, had you tried to go the normal route through an agent to a publisher?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first port of call, having worked a little bit in the business, was to bang on the doors of publishers and agents. And I just got a lot of polite no's. And I guess then I came across an article about self-publishing and thought, well, this is probably my last chance. So why not publish it and see let the readers decide whether they want to read my books. And yeah, luckily for me, they did.
Tell me a little bit about the agent system. I mean, for regular publishing or physical books, you pretty much have to go through an agent, don't you? And they have somewhat limited capacity. Is that not so?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, you need a literary agent to represent you before you can even really knock on the door of a publisher with their help to try and get your book launched.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Loads on the front pages. Shortly, I'm going to be talking to you about the cult priest who is guilty of 17 sex crimes. He led, apparently, nightclub-style church services. Just bonkers. That's on the front of the Metro. Also, big energy bills news on the front of the Daily Express. We'll be talking about all of that. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention. So, the top 10 funeral songs in the UK have been released. Does anyone, before we tell you what they are, does anyone want to take any guesses?
I'll have a guess.
Oh, I saw this earlier, so...
Angels, Robbie Williams.
Nice, good.
Andrea Bocelli, possibly.
OK.
You'll Never Walk Alone is very popular.
Must be.
My Way.
My Way, surely.
Burn Baby Burn, Disco Inferno.
Right.
Ooh.
That's what I'd go for.
What, is it?
Yeah,
is it?
You go on it, yeah.
Yeah, OK. What do you go for, out of interest? A bit morbid, but tell me.
Andrea Bocelli, I suppose.
Oh, so you're one of the classics.
I'm with the one that Martin Daubney picked earlier, Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
That's the one to go out on, I reckon.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
And don't tell anybody it's coming, I'd like to...
whack it out there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. OK, well, let's go. So, here we go. Number one, Time to Say Goodbye by Andrea Bocelli. Sarah Brightman, well done.
I'm a cliché,
well,
sorry.
Well, no, but it's cliché for a reason sometimes. Anyway, hopefully we're years away from finding out what happens at your funeral. Two, My Way, Frank Sinatra. There you go. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Now, I do love that song, Eva Cassidy. You'll Never Walk Alone. The Best, Tina Turner. They're the top 5. So there you go. Well, we thought earlier on at GB News that we'd get a funeral director on to talk about all of this. Maybe they had some suggestions of their own. Maybe they had some first-hand stories of some of the songs. Here they are.
So Soul Limbo, quite popular. We did Disco Inferno a couple of times, if you can picture the words to that. Who Let the Dogs Out? And everybody barks along. Can I say this? No. We had recently was a really less than usual one. Was we're having a gangbang. None of this is untrue.
Well, there you are. I mean, it all goes off at funerals, doesn't it, Steve?
It's cheerier than the wakes I've attended. We didn't do any of that around mine.
No.
I'm glad to say, actually. The buffet could have been better, but we didn't want to partake of that. I don't even want to say the word again. Can you say it again on telly?
Gangbang.
Oh, it turns out you can.
After the watershed. After the watershed.
Yeah, which that wasn't, by the way. Yeah. Classic, well done. Well, there you are. Yeah, well, we just thought we'd inform you about that. Shall we whiz on to an inside story, or is there anything more I'd say about funerals?
No, nothing about
Make them jolly. Make them jolly, though.
Make funerals jolly.
Not that jolly.
Obviously, don't turn up in a clown outfit.
Split the difference.
Right? I mean, but celebrate people's lives.
So many ads now on television about having a fabulously happy funeral. And there's some woman standing, I've always loved dancing, it's all fun. And then you see people, glasses of champagne and having ha. Life is not like that. I mean, I don't want to bring it down, but for heaven's sake, You know,
it's gangbang before your funeral. That's my advice.
I think he just has a very peculiar view of what heaven is like.
Probably caused the funeral, maybe.
I don't know. I've been to a couple of funerals, unfortunately.
I thought you were going to say gangbangs.
No, never. Not invited, unfortunately. Always been left out. I've been to a couple of funerals, and sometimes you get. Like the person who, I don't know what their title is, but the person who delivers it is not a priest or a vicar if you're not religious.
Humanist.
Whatever, yeah, but whatever that person's job is, the master of ceremonies, and obviously they've never met this person before, and they're like,
celebrant.
Oh, this person who's, he always had his favourite teddy when he was growing up, didn't he? And he's such a good family. Oh, he'd do anything for us. You think she'd love drugs? That's why he's dead. That's why he's dead at 24. That's why we're all here. Leave that one out of the ceremony, don't they? Anyway, right, OK, so another story. Brummies say, collect the bins and leave the flags alone. Defiant Birmingham residents are refusing to back down as their council takes down hundreds of British and English flags. Residents say authorities should tackle bin strikes and rat infestations instead. Well, the streets remain proudly decorated despite warnings and threats. So that is on the inside of tomorrow's Daily Telegraph, or today's if you're watching us in the morning. Meanwhile, and the reason we did this is because this is breaking news. Robert Jenrick is in Newark tonight, and he has spent the night putting up flags with volunteers. There you are. He's up a lamppost there. He's doing his bit, hoisting the flag, raising the colours in Newark. They've had quite a good reception, actually, from what I can gather online. It seems like it's gone down pretty well. There you go. So he's getting stuck in. Mark, is this a good thing?
Yeah, it is a good thing, isn't it? I know that Jobsworth will sort of say, which I think Birmingham City Council have said, that you can't just have people affixing whatever they want to lampposts. Apparently, it's a risk to life and limb. People could die from this sort of stuff, apparently. But the best advice I saw earlier online was if you're worried that your woke local council isn't doing something like filling in the potholes, go to all the potholes you want filled in, paint a St George's cross on them, and they'll be round like a flash to fill that in. Or put your rubbish in St George, flag, bags. They'll be round like a flash to take them away. So a lot of this seems to be prioritisation. There was somewhere, I can't remember which local council, where somebody had painted the St George's cross on a roundabout. That ran in a flash to sort that one out. Now, I'm not saying the councils, shouldn't remove graffiti or whatever, but weird sense of prioritisation. If you want something tidied up, paint the St George cross on it if you've got a
they'll be round to clean your tie in a minute. But
this is going to be nicked by my council before I get home.
I find it somewhat unedifying about how desperate Robert Jenrick is to be noticed. Me, always going up a lamppost.
Well, his job does depend on being. His job does depend on being elected.
He's a senior elected politician.
I understand that, but the desperation is just unedifying.
You're raising the colours. Those colours just happen to be Scottish.
Well, yes. Well, fair enough.
Are you Scottish?
No.
Right.
I'm a whiff Welsh, but I didn't want to be dressed up as a dragon. So
yeah, fair enough. Or a daffodil.
Oh, go on.
Or a leaf.
Go on, just one night. No, I mean, you can't. I think you've got to have this as your basic assumption. You can't ban a nation's flag in the nation. That's surely.
Yeah.
And the closest thing to a good argument anyone who's against it has is that racists love those flags, right? Yeah. But. And I was reading this thing today saying that they hijacked the flag. They didn't hijack it. Everyone else stopped using it. If everyone puts up flags, we have I'm Spartacus moment.
Absolutely.
You don't know whether the flag's being used.
Well, there's a difference between the Union Jack and the St George's Cross. There's a very
they're two different flags.
Use both of them.
Obviously, but why? Why?
Well,
the trouble...
OK, all right, we've got to go... Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, because we are way over, and I think we're going to go down a flag vortex here. But the Birmingham City Council spokesman said people who attach unauthorised items to lampposts could be putting their lives and those of motorists and pedestrians at risk. We ask that staff doing this work are allowed to continue their work unhindered, that work being, of course, removing the flags. Mark's not having any of it. Coming up, the BBC are reportedly, quote, recklessly complacent to assume Trump-style attacks on the media could never happen here in the UK. Well, get ready for this. BBC, you are fake news. Stay tuned.
Hello, good evening to you. Hope you're well. This is your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Now, as we go through the next 24 hours, it's going to stay dry for the vast majority of us, but worth bearing in mind, it could be a little chilly. We have had a cold front pushing its way across the country through today. It's not brought much rain, not at all, just a bit of cloud perhaps, but we do have slightly fresher air across us at the moment, and with lots of clear skies around, that's why we're going to see temperatures taking a bit of a dip. Not totally clear skies, some parts of central southern Scotland and down the eastern side of England. A bit more cloud here, a bit more of a breeze, so temperatures not quite dropping so low here, and generally towns and cities holding up in double figures, but towards the west, where we get the clear skies, temperatures tonight could drop to low single figures, so a bit of a fresh, chilly start for some of us. But a bright start across much of northern Scotland. A few showers still for the Northern Isles and down the far northeast of Scotland as well. Across more central southern parts of Scotland, a bit more cloud here, perhaps a few spots of rain early on. But a brighter picture for Northern Ireland and much of England and Wales, although across parts of the southeast in particular, a bit of cloud here and a few showery bursts towards the coast as well. Also a bit of a breeze here, in fact down the whole eastern side as we go through the day. There is always going to be a bit of a nagging breeze making it feel a little bit fresher, and across central eastern parts a bit more cloud bubbling up at times as we go through towards lunchtime. Some of that will break up, so some brighter sunny spells developing as we go through the afternoon, but a good deal of sunshine across northern parts and also towards the southwest, and feeling warm in that sunshine with temperatures peaking in the low 20s Celsius. Another fine day on offer as we go through Friday, perhaps a bit of rain pushing into the far northwest of Scotland, but otherwise lots of dry weather, some brightness around and just a few spots of rain here and there. High pressure staying in control as we go into the weekend, so things are staying fine. Lots of sunny spells and temperatures creeping up a little as well. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, just like week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Late Edition. Let's go with another newspaper front page. This time it's the Daily Express. Millions face energy bills rip-off, the Daily Express says. Households will pay £300 a year more under Labour as the price cap is set to rise again. Now, I remember when Sir Keir Starmer said he had a fully costed plan to fix your bills, Steve, and now here we are again.
This is the one story that makes me go rabbit hole style conspiracy theory brain, because you think, like, we really are, we've got the worst one. Out of Europe, we're paying higher bills. The whole system is a mess, isn't it? Whichever is the most expensive form of energy in the mix is the one that we pay. What a dumb idea that is. And you think, why would a government want us to be absolutely fleeced? And then you remember, they get money off this, don't they? They get the duty from it. So, of course, if they could suddenly halve our bills, they'd be receiving half of the take. And what's the one thing they're desperate to do at the moment? Keep taking some stuff. I think this is a stealth tax.
Right. Do you agree with that?
There's some truth in that. I mean, it's always worth remembering before you point the finger at the energy companies, when you're looking at your bill, much more is going in government levies than is going to energy company profits. So the biggest profiteering is from the government, not from the energy companies. But look, the long and the short of it here, I can only read the first paragraph on the front of the Daily Express. You can have cheaper energy or carbon net zero. You cannot have both. Pick a lane. Now, I've got some sympathy for, environmentalists who say carbon net zero, total, absolute national priority. OK, well, then you've got to live with higher energy bills, and you've got to bite that bullet. For those of us who are a bit more sceptical or even hostile to carbon net zero, drill, baby, drill. That will get your energy bills down. But the idea you can have both and straddle those two stools is complete fiction. Pick one.
Nina?
But is this actually true? This is not fact. Do we know this is fact or this is supposition?
Well, we get an indication. I mean, look, roughly speaking, this time last year we had an indication that this would happen. It did happen. It just seems to be the general consensus in a lot of consulted energy companies, etc.
Well, I have enormous sympathy with what you're saying, Mark, because as you say, you can't. But we must be able to find a balancing act, surely, between the green and the energy.
Well, one of the other things they said they were going to do was to ramp it up to help subsidise the poorest families.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, money.
Well, exactly. Well, but if you put the word pensioners instead of the poorest people, then people say, "Oh God, we must protect the pensioners, must pay their energy."
Well, they're more vulnerable to freezing to death, to be fair, than like a 24-year-old.
But then, look, all this hysteria about pensioners, freezing to death. A, we have not had figures on that. B, 50 years ago, there was no bloody central heating and people did not freeze to death. People put more clothes on.
Well, they burnt coal.
There is truth in that.
Not necessarily. Even without burning coal, we didn't have much heating.
But
look, OK, we talked about boomers first. I'm a classic boomer generation, born in 1946, after the Second World War ended in 1945. I was living in Scotland in the 60s. I was not happy. There was ice on the inside of my bedroom window in winter. On the inside.
Grief.
People survived that.
Energy, look, we often
put more clothes on.
We often think in these terms, but the other thing is energy is vital to us actually having a functioning manufacturing economy. And our energy prices are 4 times that of America. How the hell do we compete?
OK, all right, sorry. Sorry, Steve, I won't have time to bring you in here because I just want to get this. We've got on the front page of The Guardian, actually, a former BBC head of news, James Harding, who, let me just check where he's gone after leaving the BBC. Oh, he's editor-in-chief of The Observer. Oh, they never go the other way, do they? Anyway, he has criticised the broadcaster for refusing to call Hamas terrorists, though, to be fair. But Mr Harding, now editor-in-chief of The Observer, said that journalists should use words accurately, not censor them. While rejecting claims the BBC is institutionally anti-Semitic, he admitted the corporation has made serious mistakes. But the big one of this is that he is quoted as saying the BBC needs to be protected from Nigel Farage, because Nigel Farage might launch Trump-style attacks on the BBC. Joining us now is a US journalist and political commentator, Nelson Aspen. Nelson, thank you very much. So go on, do you think our BBC needs to be protected from, quotes, Trump-style attacks?
Well, I'm not very familiar with the day-to-day operations of BBC. I, get most of my news here from U.S. media. But from our point of view, it would be naive to think that he couldn't do it. I mean, anybody with the desire or the ability to slant the news the way they want to is going to do it. And we, the consumer who wants to get our news, has to... The expression, let the buyer beware, springs to mind. We have to shop for our news the way we would shop for groceries, because the state of media, and I'm not sure that it's all that new, is that they're counting on ratings for television and radio, readership for print and online. So they are, of course, catering to the desire. So you have to realize that it is going to be more opinion than journalism, and you have to shop carefully. Yeah. You get a little bit from one aisle and a little bit from another.
I do wonder, though, Nelson, one of the things that I think is not necessarily a bad thing is that actually what President Trump did was force people to question whether or not what they were watching was genuinely fake news. Like CNN with the mostly peaceful protests, where they've got like a riot going on behind them, everything's on fire and people are being shot at. It's not mostly peaceful, is it? I do think it opened people's eyes to the idea that maybe actually you are being spun a complete yarn by these neutral news organisations.
You can watch breaking news coverage of the exact same event, and depending on which channel you're watching, it is completely different coverage. It is unbelievable, and you have to be savvy enough to weigh the two, and to be willing to change channels, because when you're listening to something that you want to hear, it's difficult to change the channel and get another point of view. And that's the state of where we are. And we went from 4 years of the media being complicit in covering up Biden's cognitive decline to hammering on President Trump. So there is very little balance.
It's so right, isn't it? It's so right. I mean, the Americans in the oil case just ignored the fact that a bloke had obvious, visible, hardcore dementia for like the last 4 years. It was ridiculous. But Nelson, sorry about this, mate. We're going to have to go. I'm really sorry. I know you've been sitting live for a while. We're behind a bit. I'll talk to you next time. Nelson Asman, thank you. Journalist, political commentator there. Right, OK, look, when we come back, we're going to talk about this case of a cult priest who's been guilty of 17 sex crimes. It's just an unbelievable story, this. He held kind of clubbing-style services. Guarantee you, this will be a Netflix docuseries within a few weeks. Stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
For anyone heading further afield for a break over the next few days, it is going to be hot for southern parts of Spain, thundery through central Mediterranean and fairly breezy through Greece, especially around the islands, but less hot here compared with last week. Some hot sunshine in the south of Italy. Very thundery through central and northern Italy, Croatia, the Alps as well. Plenty of fine weather for Iberia, staying breezy through the Canaries, and it stays similar across central Med through the next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
OK, so welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight's late edition. We have got a lot more to talk about, and let's just deal with the Metro's front page. Cult priest guilty of 17 sex crimes. Yeah, Mark, do you want to give us a little bit more detail on the on this sex fiend?
This all goes back to the 80s and 90s, 1986 to 1995. So I have no recollection of having heard of this group at the time. It was called the 9 o'clock service, which sounds more like a comedy show than a religious
Not the 9
outfit.
o'clock
It was
service.
apparently backed by the Church of England. But amongst other things, the chap who, Christopher Brain, now 68, who ran it, had a home-based team of women in lingerie, nicknamed the Lycra Nuns and the Lycra Lovies. Is that from the book of Leviticus or something?
It's definitely Old Testament.
Is it Job? I wasn't quite sure what that was based on. So extraordinary. I mean, basic moral of the story, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, don't join a cult.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the other thing is, backed by the Church of England. I mean, the Church of England is in such a state.
Uncheckered past.
Do not even have an Archbishop of
No, what's
Canterbury.
going on with that, by the way? That's been ages. After the last one turned out to be a complete fruitcake, and then the other one turned out to maybe be even worse that they were going to put in.
So it's shocking, and yet people
Catholic
still
Church do it in days.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, another church with an unblemished record. Right. But Steve, what do you make of this? I mean, there were signs that this guy might be a bit...
Lycra nuns and Lycra Lovies. Yeah. Which I think Lycra is technically a mixed fibre, so that's a problem in the Bible as well, isn't it? I mean, the idea that it was backed by the Church of England, you say, you've got the raves, you've got the Church of England, two things, well known for their dodgy sexual past. But you just know there would have been some Church of England meeting about, oh, what can we do to get the young people involved? And this would have been their idea, so like, let's back this guy, he's into raves and young people like raves. Next thing you know, it's a sex crime.
Before that, to get young people, they should sing dreadful folk songs. There'd be some earnest guy with terrible hair and an awful jumper sitting in the, in the middle of the pew with a guitar singing Kumbaya.
Yeah, yeah, let me tell you about a great guy. Jesus. That kind of, there's a song about him.
Yeah.
But this was worse. I think we're mocking a guy
I think we're going, a bit far here, yes. Exactly.
Well, he was guilty of 17 sex crimes, which is obviously absolutely horrendous for everybody who was involved.
There's more charges to come.
There's more. There's more. The jury is apparently deliberating more. So I think the case has happened, which is why we can talk about this. But the jury is deliberating more. But I would thought, this is the kind of stuff you normally hear about in like a ranch in California. This is...
the Jesus Army, they've had similar problems. I mean, they closed down after it was discovered that they had a huge... You were mentioning earlier this would be a Netflix documentary. It was a BBC documentary about abuse within the Jesus Army.
I didn't know about the Jesus Army.
Which was another cult as well.
But my point is, this is in Sheffield. Which you not expect? Do you seem less shocked than me that this is in Sheffield and not like Waco?
Why would it not happen in Sheffield as opposed to...
Well, I just thought this was... I don't know. I just thought this has got
Sheffield,
like nutty American...
It's not the Meadowhall Centre.
South Yorkshire, very atheist or something.
I know what you mean, because...
It's an odd place for a cult.
America has more and varied different kinds of... They've got all those happy-clappy pastors on television, who make fortunes and...
Do you like God? Call this number now, give me all your money.
Much wider variety of cults in America.
Oh, you can be...
Many more to choose from, that's true.
You ever been in a cult?
Have I ever been in a cult?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I used to go on this weird rave thing where I'd dress up in Lycra. But other than that, I don't really... I don't remember how it...
Were you one of the Lycra Lovies?
Well, no, I was one of the Lycra nuns.
Oh, well, there you go.
Big difference. You had class.
Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't those Lycra Lovies. But yeah, gosh, anyway, I mean, I just thought it would just make you wonder, seriously, how many cults are there in
Now
Britain?
it was queer as folk.
Yeah. No, it's all about power, isn't it? If you're in a position where you can exploit power, some people do, and it's too common that they do.
And this is awful, and we actually haven't mentioned the victims, and there is these young women who've been taken advantage of, and that is dreadful.
It is.
And the other thing is 30 to 40 years for this to come to light.
Yeah.
Was this happening 40 years ago?
1986 to 1995.
Oh, my gosh.
Because the Church
this
of
isn't a
England's
couple of
probably
weeks
covered
back.
it up.
Well, yeah, I imagine the Church of England might deny that, but we don't know, actually, do we? Maybe they didn't. Anyway, who knows? Who knows? Right, OK. I think I've just got time. I've had to whiz you through another glance at the next tomorrow's front pages. The Metro, we were just spoken about it. Cult priest guilty of 17 sex crimes. The Eye, Labour councils threaten new legal action over asylum seeker hotels. The Express, millions face energy bills rip-off. The Telegraph, state has failed white working class people. Didn't even get round to talking about that tonight. We had so much on. The Daily Mail, Labour revolt on migrant hotels. The Sun, it's another migrant hotel story. No vacancies, they say. The Times, Labour councils explore migrant hotel legal action. The Guardian, Labour councils join revolt over migrant hotels. Is the theme on tomorrow's front pages. It'll be continued on breakfast, no doubt, if you're watching us in the morning. Thank you to my panel. Thank you to you. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
spells, with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, good evening to you. Hope you're well. This is your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Now, as we go through the next 24 hours, it's going to stay dry for the vast majority of us, but worth bearing in mind, it could be a little chilly. We have had a cold front pushing its way across the country through today. It's not brought much rain, not at all, just a bit of cloud perhaps, but we do have slightly fresher air across us at the moment, and with lots of clear skies around, that's why we're going to see temperatures taking a bit of a dip. Not totally clear skies, some parts of central southern Scotland and down the eastern side of England, a bit more cloud here, a bit more of a breeze, so temperatures not quite dropping so low here, and generally towns and cities holding up in double figures, but towards the west where we get the clear skies, temperatures tonight could drop to low single figures, so a bit of a fresh chilly start for some of us, but a bright start across much of northern Scotland. A few showers still for the Northern Isles and down the far northeast of Scotland as well. Across more central southern parts of Scotland, a bit more cloud here, perhaps a few spots of rain early on, but a brighter picture for Northern Ireland and much of England and Wales, although across parts of the southeast in particular, a bit of cloud here and a few showery bursts towards the coast as well. Also a bit of a breeze here, in fact down the whole eastern side as we go through the day, there is always going to be a bit of a nagging breeze making it feel a little bit fresher, and across central eastern parts a bit more cloud bubbling up at times as we go through towards lunchtime. Some of that will break up, so some brighter sunny spells developing as we go through the afternoon, but a good deal of sunshine across northern parts and also towards the southwest, and feeling warm in that sunshine with temperatures peaking in the low 20s Celsius. Another fine day on offer as we go through Friday, perhaps a bit of rain pushing into the far northwest of Scotland, but otherwise lots of dry weather, some brightness around and just a few spots of rain here and there. High pressure staying in control as we go into the weekend, so things are staying fine. Lots of sunny spells and temperatures creeping up a little as well. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells, with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
There's just 2 weeks left to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the
because
failure is
you're
the failure is
deliberately avoiding my